All right, solving systems of linear equations is the second part of your advanced skill and the last part. And this is going to be, you need to be able to graph one linear inequality to be able to solve a system of linear inequalities. So let's go ahead and remind ourselves how to graph these. The first step here is to graph each one on its own. So we're going to start with the top one. So y equals 4x minus 3, or sorry, not equals, y is greater than 4x minus 3, and we solve this just like y equals 4x minus 3, but remember, this is going to be a dotted line. That's probably the most common thing to forget is to keep it dotted or keep it solid, depending on the problem. All right, so here we've got a y-intercept of -3. So that's going to go right here. And then our slope is positive 4, so that means we go up 4 over 1. Up 4 over 1. And then because it's not greater than or equal to, it's just greater than, that means we're going to have a dotted line. Okay? All right, and then we want to test to see where we're going to shade. And the easiest spot to test is 0, 0. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go up here and we're going to say, okay, 0 is greater than 4 times 0 minus 3. 0 is greater than -3. So that is true, which means we're going to shade on this side. And I'm going to shade lightly because we're going to have to come back with our other equation. All right, then we're going to go over to our other equation. And this one I'm going to graph in, I think I'll graph the line in blue and then I'll shade with green. So in this case, we're going to have a solid line. Okay, and we're going to graph it the same way we'd graph y equals -2x plus 3. So I'm going to start at y-intercept of 3, go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2, down 2, and then I could also go up to left 1. Okay, and this is a solid line. I'm going to use my solid line tool. And then put arrows because it goes on forever. All right, and we want to know where to shade this. So again, I'm going to test 0, 0, just because that's easier. So I'm going to do that test over here. 0 is greater than or equal to -2 x plus 3. X is 0. 0 is greater than or equal to 3. Well, that's not true. So that's going to mean that we're going to be shading in the opposite direction. We're going to be shading up here. Okay? And your final answer for this is going to be the part that overlaps. So I'm going to do that in pink. This up here is our solution set. And if you want to check to make sure that this works, take a point that lies in that spot, so maybe 1, 3 is right here, and make sure it works for both. So I'm going to put in 3 for y, I'm putting this in the first one, and 1 for x. This is a good check to make sure that you did it right. So 3 is greater than 4 minus 3. 3 is greater than 1. Okay, that's true. All right, I'm going to do the same thing over here. 3 for y is greater than or equal to -2 times 1 plus 3. 3 is greater than or equal to -2 plus 3, which is 1, and that is also true. So we know that this was the correct solution. So your solutions are going to be graphs with shading, but you need to make it clear what your answer is. So maybe sometimes, when you're done shading that part, you might erase these other parts that you shaded and only leave this area that's shaded by both. Otherwise, it might be difficult to tell what your answer is since it's all in pencil. And that's it for solving systems of linear inequalities. Sometimes you might have to put it in the y equals mx plus b form in order to graph, but other than that, they are all pretty much the same. Don't forget to do dotted line when you need to, or a solid line when that's required.